This now. పవర్ ఆపుతా ఒకదాని మళ్ళీ నేనైతే పవర్ మొత్తం పోతుంది ఎప్పుడైనా ఇక్కడ నిలబడితే ఇక్కడే నిలబడుతుంది నేను मैंने यही सुना
May I have all your attention, please? First, one request is please put your phones on silent mode. We are meditating meditating, so we'll go by the meditation rules. No disturbances. Also, we will be starting in next 2 minutes. Everyone, please settle down. All your kids can be put down on near your chair. Later on, we can carry it when we leave the floor. We will start in next 2 minutes. Till then, I request everyone to please settle down and put your phones on silent mode. Thank you. Good evening, everyone, once again. So before we start the meditation, guided meditation session, I would like to welcome each and every one of you guys to take out time for registration, going on our page, registering, giving your phone number so that we could contact you back, and coming here, taking out time and coming all the way here for this session. Thank you very much for this. Also, on behalf of Ramashram Satsang Mathura, I welcome all of you. And now we will start with knowing and understanding what are we trying to achieve in this session. So we will understand the organization first. What is the organization about? How did it start? What are we trying to achieve? And in this session, what all session will be accumulated. So I will play a short YouTube video where you will understand the whole concept and also understand our speaker, Sri Sanjeev ji also, and he will guide us again after that. So please play the YouTube video.
Namaskar, everyone. Namaskar, everyone. It gives us immense pleasure to welcome you all. Namaskar, everyone. It gives us immense pleasure to welcome you all to the Inner Peace Workshop organized by Ramashram Satsang Mathura. Ramashram Satsang Mathura is a non-profit organization that strives to promote peace, harmony, and spiritual growth among individuals. The Inner Peace Workshop is a step towards achieving this goal. The workshop will help you explore your inner self and discover the peace that lies within you. Let us start with a brief history of Ramashram Satsang Mathura. On November 3rd, 1883, a noble soul, Param Sant Dr. April'23 ji, was born in the northern Indian province of April'. He would later become the founder of Ramashram Satsang Mathura. He studied Urdu, Farsi, English, Hindi, and Sanskrit. He had a degree in electrohomeopathy and possessed basic knowledge of Ayurveda that he used for selfless social service. Dr. April'23 ji, our Guru Maharaj, met Lalaji Maharaj, his Guru, also known as Dada Guru, during the course of his Ayurveda practice in Fatehgarh. Over the years, their association gradually deepened. During an epidemic, they had the opportunity to spend more time together. Guru Maharaj experienced an indescribable dissemination of intrinsic power towards him whenever he was in the company of Dada Guru. It was during this time that Dada Guru passed on the knowledge of this unique method of meditation to Guru Maharaj. There were no spoken words or scriptures read. There was just a silent transfer of knowledge, reliving the Guru-disciple tradition yet again. Our system of meditation is based on what Guru Maharaj learned from Dada Guru that day. In 1919, Dada Guru directed Guru Maharaj to propagate this system of meditation to as many seekers as possible. Guru Maharaj, upholding the ethics of the Guru Shishya Parampara, followed his Guru's directive in letter and spirit. He dedicated his entire life towards propagating this little known but unique method of meditation and influenced thousands of spiritual seekers who he came into contact with, without any discrimination based on religion, social, or economic status. Due to Guru Maharaj's efforts and Dada Guru's blessing, the satsang's popularity increased at a fast pace. In 1921, Dada Guru Maharaj personally attended the first spiritual congregation, or Bhandara, organized by Guru Maharaj in Ada, where he used to preside during that. Explore the origins of Dada Guru, also known as Param Sant Sri Ramchandra Ji Maharaj. He was born in 1873 in Manipuri in northern India. He studied English, Urdu, and Farsi and worked as a government official in Farrukhabad. Although as a young man, Lalaji, as he was lovingly called, imbibed religious virtues from his mother, his spiritual journey did not truly begin until he received initiation from a spiritually enlightened man, Maulana Shah Fazal Ahmad Khan Sahib, also known as Hazur Maharaj, a follower of Islam. This great Sufi saint, Hazur Maharaj, took the revolutionary step of imparting spiritual knowledge to a disciple who was not a follower of his own religion, thus exemplifying that spirituality is above and beyond the barriers of religion, caste, and creed. He facilitated the enlightenment of Dada Guru Maharaj Ji, thus setting in motion the events that would culminate in the establishment of Ramashram Satsang. The Rs 150 commemorative coin that you see here was released recently, marking the 150th birth anniversary week of Dada Guru Maharaj Ji. It is a tribute to a saint who promoted the evolution of human consciousness, thus rendering a great service to mankind, and with whose blessings Ramashram Satsang Mathura came into being. Let us now introduce some other saints in the Ramashram Satsang family. An epitome of piety, purity, and compassion, Jia Ma was spiritually empowered and had been declared spiritually proficient by three gurus, Dada Guru Maharaj, Mahatma Rabbi Dayalji, and Fakir Maulana Abdul Ghani Khan Sahib. This was unprecedented at that time. For Jia Ma, all followers were her children. She treated everyone in the family with love and compassion and tirelessly attended to the ones who needed help. Pandit Nahilalji and Guru Maharaj's eldest son, Dr. Brajendra Kumarji, conducted satsang activities under Jia Ma's guardianship. Pandit Nahilalji played a very important role and made extensive contributions to the propagation and proliferation of the satsang. The current form of the satsang in India is mainly due to Pandit Ji Maharaj's ardent hard work. He held an important post.
The current form of the satsang in India is mainly due to Pandit Ji Maharaj's ardent hard work. He held the important post of the editor of the Sadhan magazine for several years, and his contribution to the satsang literature has been immense. Dr. Brajendra Kumarji worked closely with Pandit Ji in shaping the satsang. Subsequently, several prominent personalities like Hemendra Kumarji and Narendra Kumarji served the satsang and are continuing to do so. One of them is respected Sanjeev Kumarji. Sanjeev Kumarji is a meditation practitioner with over 40 years of experience. He has been facilitating guided meditation sessions in the DC, Maryland, Virginia area and across the US for the last 2 decades. Sanjeev Ji is also the president of Ramashram Satsang Mathura Incorporated.
Anxiety and depression that modern life places on the mind and body. He is strongly motivated to make a meaningful impact in people's lives and increase the peace and happiness we can experience day to day by following the peaceful lifestyle promoted by the principles of Satsang. Throughout the workshop, you will be guided by an experienced spiritual leader, Sanjeev Ji, who will help you learn the technique to find inner peace and overcome stress, anxiety, and negative emotions. You will also have the opportunity to interact with other like-minded individuals during the breakout session after the meditation. Here, during the question and answer session, you will be able to ask any questions that you may have after experiencing the meditation session. We believe that inner peace is essential for a fulfilling life, and we hope that this workshop will help you find that peace within yourself. We urge you to approach the workshop with an open mind, be receptive to new ideas and techniques, and participate actively in the session. We wish you a rewarding and enriching experience during the workshop. Thank you for joining us today.
I hope everyone has understood the concept and have gone into the meditation already. Has everyone done that? Okay, so now I request Dr. R.K. Tiwari ji to please escort Sanjeev ji on stage and please present him a welcome momentum. So please come on stage. Can we have a big round of applause, please? Meditation में claps allowed होंगे, sir, right? Claps are not allowed. Okay, we are not claps.
So, this is not my turn, but I'm just saying that, we are here to get peaceful and calm. And that is, every time you do some activity, it takes you out of there. So clapping, feel good inside. You don't have to express it as much, right? Because that's the essence, that we need to find peace in words, right?
Thank you, sir. Also, moving forward with the program, I would request Gopal ji, Salil ji to please escort Sanjeev ji and we will proceed with the lighting of the lamp. Gopal ji and Salil ji. Tiwari sir, please आप किया जाइए.
Yes.
Moving ahead with the program, I would request Sanjeev ji to please take over the proceedings and please have a seat on your.
Welcome, everyone. Really glad to be here. Yesterday when I landed, I don't know, there is something about Hyderabad. Can you
సైడ్ కి పెట్టుకో కొంచెం మైక్ తీసుకుంటాం అటు సైడ్ ఇట్ ఈస్ సింపుల్
Yeah. So I think there is, this is my first visit to Hyderabad, and I think I really like it. So I, you know, really feel the vibe here. You know, there is something. I studied in Trichy. I have been to Bangalore quite a bit. And as you heard, I mean, the history is almost a century old. But this Satsang has been, you know, propagating in the northern belt a lot more. For last 2 decades, I've been trying to translate, you know, some of the things and trying to have these English sessions more and more. So I'm glad I'm here sharing this century-old practice with you today. The goal here is very, very simple. If you touch and feel deeply inside, you know, the core, at the bottom of, you know, within your core, if you feel that you felt really peaceful, then it's successful, you know. So, but we need to, so at the core is the peace itself. How do we relate to it? How do we practice it? What it is? So we will start with some concepts, but then we will go into guided meditation. And I want to clarify, like, this is not really a breathing meditation. It's much deeper than that. Guided it is in the sense that we start with some clear instructions, but it's not guided in the sense that during the meditation you hear anything like some of that has become more popular. This is, you know, you will hear some concepts, understand, you know, some of basics, then there is instruction, then you go into deep meditation and silence. That's what we will practice today. And then, you know, there are a lot of young faces I see today. So we'll have an interactive Q&A, you know, following that. So let's talk about peace, right? What is peace, right? It's, is it just being calm and quiet? And is it just tranquility? Is it peace from outside? Like sometimes we go in the nature and we feel so peaceful. But see, if you really look at the current, you know, neuroscience research has once again, you know, there was some of this done early on, but people didn't really catch on to it. And what has come out is that, say, if you're relaxing physically, you're not necessarily, your brain is not fine. So if you're physically maybe lying down and you're absolutely calm and quiet from the outside perspective, but from within, your brain is still at work. And that, when your thought waves are on, you're not really at peace. So that's one aspect that we'll talk a little bit about. And so then, what is peace? So Guru Maharaj, so interestingly, I have this book, 7-volume book, as you know, 28 chapters. Today's talk is just one chapter out of those, you know. So it's just you know, fraction of what all he wrote, like numerous books, and he actually established a printing press. He established a monthly journal in Hindi and so on and so forth. So anyway, so going back to the definition of peace, he said that peace is where there are no good or bad desires. And who would have thought that how good and bad desires related to peace. And then he says that what happens is that because if a desire gets fulfilled, you're like on the high. You're very happy. If they don't get fulfilled, you're low, you're kind of unhappy. And this is just one aspect, because sometimes you love things because of these good and bad desires, sometimes you hate, and the intensity of emotions get affected because of these good and bad desires. So what he says is that you oscillate between two states. So it's like that dual state, like you're up, then you're down, and there is no peace when that, fulfilled desires take you on a higher state, or unfulfilled desires take you elsewhere. So what he is saying is that, to be peaceful, you have to come out of this oscillation of, so these good and bad desires are going to affect your peace. And something that is kind of similar, and maybe more people can relate to that. Buddha once said that all attachments lead to misery, right? And so it's again, because when there are attachments, there are these desires amplified. And when that happens, so attachments and desires are interrelated, and detachment and peace is interrelated. So we need to understand some of that. But today, what I wanted to do was focus on the biggest challenge. So Guru Maharaj says the biggest challenge to your peace, inner peace, is worry and anxiety. So then let's, if that is the biggest challenge, what is worry, right? So there are, now scientific and medical definitions of worry. And essentially, in the chapter, Guru Maharaj describes pretty much the same thing, that if you catch hold of a thought, and a lot of times it's negative, and you repeat that thought again and again and again in your head, then, it just takes a course of its own, and you get consumed in this repetitive process. And what happens is that causes, so that is worry, right? So worry is like when you get caught up in a thought, and that thought is repeating almost seamlessly. It's like a movie which is not stopping. And interestingly, what happens, mind, the way naturally it is, the negative things catch hold of the mind more quickly than positive things. And what happens, like, oh, this might happen. And that may be just your fiction, right? You're just thinking that might happen, but that's a negative thing. And that your mind is like, oh gosh, that can happen. And that word just run, oh, what if this happens? Then what if that happens? Then it just goes on and on and on. And that might not happen at all, right? But your mind is caught up, and that is worry. And that leads to some very, very interestingly negative consequences. So people who get caught up in worry lose sleep. Sometimes they lose their appetite. Sometimes this can cause, and because of so there are physical, it was a mental thing that you are caught up in a past or your future things that are causing the worry, but now the mental process is causing physical impact. And this is happening, so broadly, so deeply in current world that it is just, it's an epidemic, essentially. One of the reasons I feel that instead of going to culturally, we have researched this in ancient times, thousands of years ago. This was researched. There was a lot of tools, techniques published, but I don't know, for some reason, either we don't believe in those or we ignore those and we just like, okay, pop a pill. If you're anxious, just take a pill and you think that's the solution. It's only solving the symptom. So today we want to talk about some root cause, right? Like how do you really handle worry and anxiety at the deepest level in the sense of tackling the root cause itself. And, for me, all my talks at the end of the day, it's all about, how meditation solves everything. But it's not that. Actually, today we will talk about step by step how you can tackle the biggest challenge. So interestingly, Guru Maharaj says that the biggest bondage we have, the biggest problem in life we have is worry. And the elimination of worry in your life is mukti. It is freedom, it is happiness, it is the ultimate nirvana. So according to him, if you tackle this one thing, worry and anxiety, your life could transform in so many ways. And then the technique that we will learn today essentially takes it beyond that. There is like a lot more to it. You can tackle a lot of other things as well with the techniques, but let's go back to the solutions to this problem. So interestingly, in those old days, it was not a PowerPoint style teaching, right? It was, it's very, he goes logically into what are the causes, what are the solutions. So what I found interestingly, I have only put 4 things here, but in one chapter, and it's one of the relatively shorter chapters, he talks about 7 techniques that you can really use. What we believe in, also comes in the way because it comes in as one of the solutions. Because if you believe that there is something that is taking care of you when your chips are down, that belief will help you with worry and anxiety, right? But anyway, so step 1, he says, create an alternate pathway. So what is alternate pathway? And, we all get worried sometimes or the other. And I have personally used the first option. So I almost had a panic attack and I was like, things were really bad. And I said, okay, let me go switch on the TV and watch something I really like, right? What did I do? I just changed my attention from what is occupying my mind to something else. That's it, right? Temporary solution, but it's effective. So my father used to say that when engineers create a dam on the river, what they do is first create a canal. right? So what happens is the water flow that was coming towards where the dam has to be built, the canal creates an alternate pathway. So the pressure and the water flow pressure on the site of the dam reduces, and they create the dam, the canal takes the pressure out, and once the dam is created, they block them. And now, the flip side is, so that's creating the alternate pathway. Interestingly, that was a temporary solution, but what happened was afterwards, once the dam is created, you can utilize the water pressure from there to create these, to generate electricity using turbines, right? So think about, so anyway, so that's a different story altogether. Creating an alternate pathway creates, so this actually, Guru Maharaj went back to the Yoga Sutras and quotes from there that, creating an alternate pathway is a technique that you can utilize. Then the second one, he says, create a completely opposite and strong force. So now what happens is that it is the second technique, slightly different from the first one, where I was getting bombarded with some negative thoughts, right? And I started thinking about, I am in the best beach on the world, right? It's a completely opposite thought, right? It's so I could think about my guru, who is the most positive person, if I believe that, and that positive and strong force, I believe would be completely different from the negative thoughts that are affecting, right? So, and then he quotes Yoga Sutra again, Vitar Badne Pratipakshi Bhavan. So basically, take the opposite of what is affecting you, and that will change your inner state, right? So how do we do that? And, so having a belief system, for example, right, that somebody is taking care of you, right? And so what I have been talking about is that think about the cosmic energy, think about the transcendental energy. And if you can connect to the source of energy, you can feel that transcendental energy right here, right now. That's, energizing you, making you stronger. Then whatever else is affecting you is really tiny in front of that. And the example I give there is, sun is 93 million miles away, but is responsible for, all the life on Earth. So imagine the galaxy has millions of these suns. So the cosmic energy, if you can feel directly or indirectly. So Sankhmat believes your guru embodies that. Religions believe your prophet embodies that. So connect with the cosmic energy. Your problems are puny compared to that, right? So that's the second technique. The third one is like how to live in the present moment. So living in the present moment is an ideal solution. So we've talked about a couple of these temporary or, important, but living in the present moment is a far more potent, far more stronger, far more deeper technique that can solve the worry and anxiety issue. So let me tell you, so if the past was bothering you, right? Relationships, incidents, circumstances. If past is bothering you, you're stuck in the past. If you're worried about what if this happens, what if that happens, if my kids, my work, and there's so many what ifs in the future. So we're not living in the present moment. We're stuck in the past or worried about the events in the future. Now, what happens if somehow I was able to live in the present moment? Then I'm not in the past, so I'm not worried about. So basically, the essential thing is, as soon as you learn to live in the present moment, worry doesn't exist. That's true. But we probably don't know how to live in the present moment. But if we do, which most of our saints and sages do, if you can live in the present moment, worry cannot exist, because worry exists because you are utilizing an amazing capability that you have for mind, but you're almost abusing that capability. Right? You're overutilizing that capability, which is causing the worry and anxiety. So if you could somehow keep yourself to live in the present moment, then that, worry would not exist. So the question is, how do I do that? And there are, actually, believe it or not, there are well-documented multiple techniques there too, right? And one of them, which has become very, very popular lately, is mindfulness, right? You might be stuck here, you might be stuck there, but if you start, just focusing on your breathing, and that brings you here, because you're observing your breathing. And so, I was part of a corporate course, and they, to the present moment. But then what we will practice today also does that and other things as well. Like the fourth one. So the fourth technique here is, if we could, so control your mind is, the English way of saying things, but let's say what Maharishi Patanjali researched was like, he said, basically, the Chit Vritti Nirodha. So yoga Chit Vritti Nirodha. So yoga is when your chit, which is the subconscious mind or the unconscious mind, is not any more propagating any thought waves to start with. So what does that mean? So we think and we decide through our consciousness. What we don't realize is that our conscious mind only deals with 5% of the things. Most of the things you do during the day, more than 90%, is like driving your car. Reflex action. You know when to turn, pretty much, like if you are going from your home to work, you pretty much know. You don't even think. Sometimes you have to go elsewhere. Oh, I made the wrong turn. because your mind is kind of tuned to just do it, in a reflex action. So your subconscious mind actually controls more things than you think. Your conscious mind, you think controls everything, but it is controlling, only a fraction of the decisions that you made, during the day, for example. So what Maharishi Patanjali said, that it's not just the controlling your conscious mind. If you were able to stop the initiation of the thought processing that come to your conscious mind, then think about this. We talked about, living in the present moment. That was one way to tackle it. But there, what we found was that our mind is getting stuck here in the past or in the future. What if we were able to clear our mind from the thoughts themselves? Then where would worry exist? So worry is because we are going in the past or in the future, right? So if we are clearing our mind of the thought processes completely, so if you are able to clear your conscious mind, which you can do through concentration, dharana. What is concentration? So with chanting, with mantras, with a lot of other things, you can concentrate. But when you go deeper into, the techniques like we will practice shortly, then you are going beyond that. Then you're going to dhyan, which is silent meditation, where you are now not only clearing your conscious mind, but you slowly starting to affect your subconscious mind. Because now, if the thought processes stop for that period of time becomes peaceful. And even so in both the third and the fourth option, what you are finding is that worry cannot exist. So if you master the art of clearing your mind, then you will feel peacefulness. If you master the art of bringing your subconscious mind to be devoid of thought, or training it not to create more thoughts, then worry would not exist. So yoga, the real definition of yoga is yoga's chit vritti nirodha, which is when subconscious mind stops, throwing in more thoughts or thought processes which then occupy your conscious mind, then you have achieved the union with the limitless. So you feel limited because of your limited thought processing. If you stop that, you become limitless, because now you have achieved that higher consciousness or the connection with the source of energy in ways that you were not able to do before. So essentially, satsang is just another way. Sat and sam. Sat is positive, uplifting energy, the transcendental energy. And sam is to be with. So to be with transcendental energy is satsang. That's what we will practice now. And then we'll open up for questions. And basically, we can talk about some nuances of these aspects and solutions, you know, because all of us interpret things like differently, and you know those explanations might have. So we'll interact afterwards. But the goal here right now is that let's try to clear our mind of thoughts, at least for this moment. Once you, you know, get that technique, then there are other ways to extend it beyond just the meditation time. Right? So lesser worries, or if you do it right, for that period at least, the worries don't exist. That becomes a peaceful. And if you extend those techniques, you can potentially, you know, live in the present moment. You can control. Your mind is your capability. You should own it, and you should control it, right? So that's what we will start doing through this technique. So that you might know others, but this will be one additional technique that you would learn. And what Guru Maharaj said that, you know, there's so many ways to do the same thing. This is simple, effective. It has worked. And I have, like, one of the reasons I share this is that I've seen this work. It doesn't, like, what I found was that it is not very common for some reason. You don't understand why it is not so common when it's so effective. But people who implemented this, I have seen their lives were such that love, light, and peace becomes abundant in them. People who see them, meet them, become so peaceful just by being with them. So it's almost magical. So let's get into the guided part of the meditation. So instruction, the guidance, then we will have music for transition in, and music will fade away. You will be meditating in silence. I think we can try to dim some of the lights for meditation. So basically, number one thing is that sit in a relaxed posture. Most of us should be relaxed, but just see, close your eyes and see there is no screen anywhere, because every time your body moves, your mind moves with it. So we want to minimize the distraction of the mind, right? So if your body moves, your mind moves with it. So we want to minimize the bodily movement. So you should sit in a relaxed posture. Traditionally, we sit in a lotus pose on the ground. Because of many reasons, including everybody has back problems and so on and so forth. So, even in the traditional satsangs, we now say, sit in a relaxed posture, whatever that relaxed posture is. And then eyes lightly closed. And that too is important, because eyes are getting sensory input. We want to, again, minimize that. So eyes lightly closed, sit in a relaxed posture. And now think of this transcendental energy in front of you, right here, right now. So it's not far away, and you should feel the presence and the connection. So there is transcendental energy right here, right now with you, and that is entering your heart and distributing throughout your body. So basically, you are becoming one with this energy. You are becoming the energy. So there is this transcendental energy in form of light that's entering your heart, distributing throughout the body. So inside and out is only energy. So now what will happen is
naturally the mind will go somewhere else. So one of the things we do is we start with music. Music, allows the mind to settle for a little bit. But every time you see that the mind has wandered away, bring it back to this part and this part alone. So we are not doing any activity here. Guru Maharaj said, do any activities that you do traditionally just before or after this. This time, just focus on observing and manifesting this transcendental energy in form of light. That light is entering your heart to be your heart. So let's start. So we will have the interactive session now, but before that, I just wanted to say that if you can practice this for half an hour in the morning and half an hour in the evening, and you try that for a couple of weeks, you will see amazing results. We also do an online satsang every Saturday at 7:30 p.m. So you can join that too. Because as you saw here, sitting in silence has its own energy, and the collective energy helps each other. So I wanted to go back to, look at the, amazing silence and some of the peace that we have right now, and how clapping will change that environment. So, but to go a little deeper, so if you were to practice this for some time, what you will find is you go through 3 states. So our scriptures have talked about Sat, Raj, and Tam. But basically, there is a positive energy and a positive state associated with that. So some days when you meditate, you will find that you close your eyes and you're in such good place. It's like amazing meditation. They're like, wow. You come out of meditation, you're refreshed, you feel very positive, you feel uplifted, and people think, and especially in the beginning, you should get that state because that's what will motivate you, that's what will drive your meditation practice. But then what happens after some time, you close your eyes and there's a movie run. Thoughts, scenarios, things that you have seen, not seen. And it's like, oh, what happened to my meditation? This is not what I expected. So that is what is the middle state called Raj, which has action, movement, but it is still a meditative state. Your inner self has to be cleansed. So cleansing, like if there was some dirt in the room, when it is settled, you don't see it, you don't feel it. When you start cleaning it, the dirt comes in the air and you start feeling it. So that is the second stage where cleansing is now making some things appear within you which you did not expect in your meditation. But that's an important part. And then there is a third stage. You close your eyes, it's dark, it's very, you sometimes don't even feel like meditating. You sit in meditation, it's very dark, you don't feel energized. So that's the third state, which is tamasic or tam oriented and negative energy. But again, these 3 states come to everyone. So Guru Maharaj used to say that your job should be to sit in meditation, find a place and time, and just do it as a duty. And slowly you will come through these stages to a higher state. And that's when you have become, then you will not need this practice, right? But you have to go through some of this before you get to that state. So what happens with clapping, that's a little bit of a rush. It's like action-oriented. We want to be in Sat, which is the positive, quiet, but uplifting energy. And you don't have to demonstrate that. You just have to feel that way, uplifting. So that's the difference there. So somebody has to now break the ice, and let's get down to some questions here.
Anyone wants to ask a question?
That's okay.
Sanjeev is good enough. Thank you.
Thanks for an awesome and amazing session right now. As you already answered, I think my question, like we have 3 stages which we follow, but I want to ask you some deep question right now. When you said that, like you get some energy from a source, at the time I'm able to visualize. In the next step, I was able to enjoy the music, feel the music. When there is a break, when there is no music, as you said, the random thoughts are coming at the time. What's the best way to escape that, or what the best way to come out of it? So this is my
Practice. So these thoughts will die down. So one thing I always tell people is that don't get caught up in what you start your manifestation or meditation with, right? So some people say, I'm not able to visualize light, I'm not able to see the light, I don't know where the source is. And I'm like, okay, the way I look at it, look here. You are able to see everything in this room because there is light. Light is knowledge. Light you don't see, you see things in light, right? But we have to manifest that light within us. So we are imagining light, but it's not an effort of visualization. Right now, right here, I'm in this light. It's natural. And I should just feel that there is this light that's coming into my heart. That's a toy that we are giving our mind. Just that, right? Don't fight with it. Don't run amok with it. Just meditation should be effortless. And slowly you will get to that point where you feel the positive energy and the light, and you will, slowly go even beyond that. Because in deep meditation, what Guru Maharaj and Maharishi Patanjali describe is like, you will not know who you are, where you are, what you started with even, right? You want to go into that state, right? Makes sense?
Thank you so much.
Any more questions?
Thank you, sir, for this beautiful session.
Thank you.
Sir, I want to ask you one question, sir. This meditation in my house, I can do?
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
Here, too many people are doing, I am also
Enjoying that, right? No. So personally, I have meditated for all these years. I always find when I'm with the satsang, with people in the group, it's like very, very energizing and uplifting, effortlessly, right? In the traditional satsang, there are thousands of people sitting in silence. I can tell you the energy is just enormous, right? So group sessions are important, but individual, so we have to still individualize our meditation. So what happens is, like, if you do it a few times alone or in group, slowly it becomes something that energizes you, something that becomes part of you. Then you close your eyes. Yes, it is, your mind is not leaving the games it plays, but you still feel better. Sometimes you feel the example is sleep, right? Sometimes you get good sleep, not so good sleep, but sleep still is an integral part. We cannot live without it. We should think that this meditation of any kind needs to be part of our lifestyle, because it is as important as sleep. You don't sleep for 2 days, it will be, so internal cleaning is as important. So yes, develop an individual practice, get support from group practice. And I think the local volunteers are saying that they will continue to follow up and have more such events. There are other people who can come, and I would come as many times as I can. I really love this was a lot.
One more thing, sir.
Yeah.
By doing the meditation, how my office tensions and how can I
Take those away, right?
Yeah.
No. So that is what this solves, right? Even for 10 minutes, even for 1 minute, when we leave those tensions, that is how we get energized, right? So this process slowly brings that calm and peace, inner peace. So initially it will be like 30 seconds, right? You sit for 15 minutes, only a minute you really feel good, but that's enough. You will see that in one session, 1 minute, if you are really, into deep meditation, you will feel so good that you want to do it again. You know? Thanks.
Any more questions?
Hi, sir. First of all, thank you very much for coming here and in a chance for us to meet with you and having this session. Thank you very much.
It's my privilege. I'm so happy to be here.
Yeah,
To be
thank you
here.
for that. As our friend, hello, yeah, as our friend said now, usually I have been meditating almost like since maybe 5-6 years. The way I started this in Madura, where I felt my first, and I was energized a lot, as you mentioned. So from that moment, I didn't leave. I have been to Kundla, like wherever wonders are happening. So that was really awesome. So I always worried, like due to our office schedules and all, I was unable to go there. But I try to do my best by practicing, in my room. And one thing I felt is like depends on the cleanliness of the room. And one more thing, like once I take bath, I feel a lot of energized. When I don't take bath, so I feel a bit negative energized. So that is mattering a lot to me. And similarly, the way my friend told just now. So usually I daily meditate around 9 to 9:30 p.m. Sorry, AM in the morning before going to office. But when I start sitting at that time, so all the office emails will come into my mind initially. So the emails, the project deliverables. So it takes a lot of time, but still I will be successful. But I will take a lot of time. How can we avoid this? But in the weekends, yeah, it's absolutely fine. I am free for everything. It's like wonderful. I can sit for 1 hour, 1.5 hours, depends on my concentration. But how can I avoid this? How can I be more successful in the mornings? So that's what my question is.
Yeah, for somebody it's email, somebody it's other problems. Somebody would make up some what if scenarios. So meditation, and the distractions in our life are so many. So interestingly, how Guru Maharaj designed this. So there is, this talk and music and all these things I call transition in. So when you transition in, you take your time to take your thoughts away from what is going on. And then you go into deep meditation. You just don't, otherwise we can just come in, meditate for 5 minutes and 15 minutes and done. But that doesn't happen because it doesn't work that way. People don't realize you need transition in and you need transition out. My humble suggestion would be change the time for your meditation, because I think either you need to meditate a little early in the day or try end of the day more. Because I think what you're describing is like the time you have chosen is a little distracting. However, once you become a little more advanced practitioner, you can control that a little bit more. But again, I don't think, and one of the things that people think that, you have to leave this or leave that and do this. Guru Maharaj said, it's simple, it's very effective, it takes far less time compared to a lot of other activities. You can, the time you devote for this should be devoted to this. So even if it is 15 minutes, it ought to be devoted, dedicated time. So I feel that yeah, it's a matter of tweaking a little bit this way or that way. But it's at least you're doing something, making an effort, so that's commendable.
Yeah, thank you. I have one more question in terms of principles of I mean, which I didn't get properly. The fifth point is you will not get it from outside, and knowledge is within you. For this, you will have to make internal effort.
Yeah.
What is that knowledge meant? That's what I didn't understand.
Yeah, so basically, I did a similar talk in Jaipur in September, and the topic was like actual inner peace. And one of the things that Guru Maharaj talked about is why I call it inner peace, because peace is inside. A lot of people are searching for peace in the world outside. If I do this, I'll be happier. If I do that, I'll be more peaceful. We are chasing some dreams, and that continues one after another. But peace is actually within. So once you realize that, that peace is within, you have to do internal. So Guru Maharaj describes that there are external activities like mantras, chanting, kirtans, and they're very helpful. But to get to real peace, you need to do inner satsang or inner efforts. So like what we did here is an inner effort, and not only it leads to peace, the target state of a practice like this, I call target state is light, love, and peace. So love, like Lord Krishna's love, would come only if you know that you are connected with everybody in the world, with nature. And how would you know that? That knowledge has to come within. So first the knowledge comes, then the love, and then the peace. So light, love, and peace is where this process can take you. So that's what he's talking about.
Yeah, thank you so much. I mind, but
yeah, we'll talk more.
Yeah, thank you.
We'll follow up. You can catch up with me on WhatsApp too.
Yeah, thank you.
Anyone has any questions?
Thank you. The practice was really amazing. But two questions I have. One is, while we were practicing, it appeared as though that the energy, they transmit the energy which we kind of visualize and then meditate on that. So where is there a guru and a lineage which is required? That is one. Second, do we really, as you mentioned, the targeted outcome? Do we really have an intention either of cleaning or of reaching that outcome, or let it automatically kind of evolve while the practice is on?
Yeah, so the second question, especially, this whole practice, and Guru Maharaj has written so many books about, is actually he used to believe that why believe in one ideology or one religion? I mean, all humans should be at peace themselves and promote peace with others, right? So share that peace with others. So his view was that somebody came to him. He was a head of one of the big religious organizations. He came and asked him, like, so what do you believe in? And he said, like, I believe that, in the ocean or the land of peace, He said, no, I didn't mean that. He says, like, what? So he was trying to ask him, like, what does he really believe in? And he was like, he said, every human being, according to me, should try to achieve this goal and that goal he calls the universal religion or something that should be common to everyone. So the other Guru Maharaj that we heard about his guru used to say that all we want to do is make better human beings or true human beings. Now, your first question, the thing is, have we seen Christ or Krishna or, any of the prophets? Like, we imagine, right? That imagination becomes reality if your conviction becomes, your belief becomes stronger and stronger. And for that, you have to do some practice like this. So some a few 100 years ago, Guru Nanak and all these people used to believe that why imagine something I have not seen? Why can't I believe in someone who has achieved the target state? So if you sit with someone and you forget about all worries and problems and you just become so peaceful, he says that is a characteristics of a person who has achieved higher consciousness. And those people can become, a source of this energy for them. But till then, we just visualize the energy and become that energy. So, to me, the end goal is to meditate with a very, very positive goal. So youngsters today manifest, I want to get a new car. I want to manifest that, right? I want to get a new relationship, or I want to do this, I want to do that. That becomes their manifestation. Believe it or not, old scriptures have written that if you manifest something, you can achieve. You have these mental capabilities. If you refine them, you should be able to achieve them. So the question is, at the end of the day, what are you trying to do? The source of energy, right? Through someone or directly. So to me, we want to be so full of light, which is knowledge, so full of love that we love, unconditionally, we give unconditionally. We are so peaceful that everyone who sits, contacts us, be with us, be that also, or she is also. How do we achieve that through this process? What are we doing time?
Any more questions? So, is really necessary, and what kind of music can we listen to while meditating?
So I came here, I was just having some discussions and this came up that now there are apps which just play some music and that's the meditation. I personally, based on my experience, meditation is way more than that. It could be a good start. So let's see. We need some transition in, as I said, like transition in and transition out is like a bridge that, I am caught up in the emails, I'm caught up in, what I have to do today or what I messed up yesterday, or my boss was saying this, or my kids did this, or, endless list of things that my mind is occupied with. So you have to take some time to transition into a deeper meditation. So the deeper the meditation, I think there is some amount of transition in that would be required. Once you're advanced practitioner, the amount of transition in may be lesser, but still required. So Guru Maharaj had traditional prayers. Now those prayers, when you sing, so when you're singing, right, what happens? You are in that activity, right? Like mantra or chanting or kirtan, right? When you are in that activity, your mind gets concentrated. So I call that not a meditation, but a preparation for meditation, right? So you have to have some preparation or transition in to a deeper meditation. So you can take music of the thing that is serene, quiet, or some prayers or some mantras, chanting. And so Guru Maharaj had this traditional prayer. It was almost 14-minute transition in, and then about 5-minute transition out. So I converted that into this music. Today, I think initially the audio system didn't play it right, but we have multiple versions of that. So we're using the music, but it would be more effective if you were singing the prayers, because then your mind even and you yourself get engrossed in that activity and forget about everything else. So music and prayers can help you transition in, and then this process will take you deeper into the meditation. Hope that helps.
Taking the program further. So should we?
Let's see.
Yeah.
It's good evening, and thanks for the wonderful question.
Thank you.
So I have been in the past meditation doing in the past 10 years, 15 years, and been in yoga also. So one thing I have a very specific doubt is, does the food, like whether it may be weight or non-weight or whatever is it, does it affect the subconscious mind and the thought process? Does it change the thinking or the manifestation of human behavior? That's my query, which I've been long answering about that.
Oh, great question. After the meditation, I talked about these 3 states, Sat, Raj, and Tam. Positive energy, negative energy, and the blend or action oriented state. So literally, Lord Krishna in Gita has explained a lot of things there around Sat, Raj, and Tam. But if we look at the impact of what we eat, so Guru Maharaj has, I think, in one of the books, the entire first couple of chapters are all about the impact of food on you, right? So in the traditional sessions, there's always sweets, that become prasad and it's distributed. The idea is that there was a collective energy here, right? That energy gets imbibed in the food that is, within the environment. So there is always a question that I felt good right now. I go back to work, I go back home, back to square one, right? If I had eaten that food, which is in this positive environment, now food stays with me for 24 hours, right? So now I have this positive energy for next 24 hours because I have consumed the food that is uplifting me, energizing me, and it was imbibing that energy that we generated here or received here. So the same process, I think, is like every food that we eat lives in us for hours and has an effect. So even medically, something gives you this effect, something gives you that effect, but spiritually or mentally, also it affects you. So what you eat definitely affects you in these three categories: positive, something which makes you like more action oriented, where there is activity of mental or other types, and then there is this negative impact. So the research has happened that lighter food, things that don't make you overly heavy, like heavy and rich food is the second category. Lighter food is in the first category. And then there's some types of food which will be, the negative one. So to me, the thing is, like, when you are just starting the practice, you will see the impact a little bit. But once you become a more advanced practitioner, you will see, oh, I ate that yesterday, and my meditation is not working as well. Okay. So, I mean, we can go on and on, but really thankful for your presence here, and really, I'm hoping that we can have more sessions like this, and feel free to join the online sessions. And I have started recording some of this on the YouTube channel, so you can, refer those there. And questions can always come through WhatsApp or email.
So I have so yes, please.
Thank you.
I'm wishing that I've been on individual. Yeah. My experience here is in fantastic. Because of my position in office, I got to those different meditations, and I happened to participate in multiple sessions like this. One thing I want to share here with our friends is that I also do meditation individually at home, but that experience is completely different from this experience of the group meditation. So whenever you get this kind of opportunity, don't miss it. So because my biggest weakness is that I forget fast. That's a possible. Several people ask me, oh, you have done that, like, and I don't remember it. Why I did this now, I try to put 100% concentrated attention and what to do. So one thing, there are two questions from me. One is from my individuals, and then toward the society. What I've seen is that particularly for youth, because of changing timings, work timings, food habits, changing food habits, and I think I have good time to speak. No respect towards our traditions, no respect our food, language. I don't know, I may be wrong, but what I am not sure, just tell you. So what should be message that we can bring a change to the next generation, and what should be the model lifestyle in modern society? Second question, can I tell you right now, is for me, what I feel is that we have taken this human being not by accident. There must be a plan by unknown source. We have not taken a form of animal. We are here. Because longevity increase now, we can easily expect live up to 100 years. So in these 100 years, what should be done? without knowing what to do. So I continue to do whatever is available with me on that day. That has given me opportunity to serve the organization, continue to do that. Whenever there is a target, it almost takes tensions and all that into up to home. It is not that much easy to detach from that all that we carry in our mind. So what should be the purpose of life altogether after at the end of this journey? As this inner peace deals with Atma. At the time of death, there should be no desires. We should lead ourselves a form of desireless at the time of death. That we may call as moksha. But saying says whether it is possible. So my question is that what is the purpose? Second question. Thanks.
In Upanishads, thousands of years ago, they said like if the goal, to call it moksha or nirvana or enlightenment, Guru Maharaj simplified it and said, land of peace, right? Because peace is where there are no desires. So why wait till death? Do it today. So people say, how would I have no desires and live? Right? I think somewhere misconception, misunderstanding, or something went wrong. Okay, so what we did today is not for later years. It's not for time of death. Once the bad and good desires are gone, we are peaceful. Why should we not be peaceful today, right now? Right? Problem is like, oh, what will happen to my work? What will happen to my family? What will happen to my other things that I want to do? So that is the misconception that we need to remove from the society. Okay, so 2 questions. I think it's a one answer with 2 parts. You need to be peaceful today. You need to learn that, and you need to then share that. That should be the purpose. Our purpose in life should be very clear. I want to achieve the highest goal, and I want to help everybody else to achieve that higher. End of story. Right? So what is that purpose will become clear when my brain starts working well. When will my brain start working well? When my mind will stop doing the nonsense. My mind plays games. My mind is carrying emotions. Emotions are like clouds. When the clouds clear, sunlight comes automatic. Right? So we need to clear the clouds of the mind. The sun is the knowledge. It's right here in our brain. We use very little of our brain. Why? Because of the mind. So what yoga says, asanas, pranayams mean physical body should be fit, breathing should be better. Dharana, dhyan, pratyahar is like mind should be in control. Yam and niyam means your behavior should be clean and clear. And if you do all that, the knowledge will appear like the sun. When you will have knowledge, then you will realize that you are not alone. See, everybody here is the same family because we are connected. How are we connected? Through it's like, and I can tell you 10 different ways we're very, very deeply connected. We just feel, oh, he lives in the same area, he is in the same school. No, we are human beings. We are conscious beings. Every conscious being, even the animals and the, nature, When we go in the nature, we feel so connected. Wow, because we're part of it. We're connected integrally. When does that appear? When the sun appears, when the clouds clear, the knowledge will appear. So first purpose of our life is to bring that knowledge by going through. So I have on my YouTube channel, there is a pyramid or the Panch Kosh that Upanishads talk about 5 steps. Annamay Kosh, Pranamay Kosh, Manomay Kosh, Vigyanmay Kosh, Anandamay Kosh, and then the goal. The 4th step is where the 3rd eye appears. Vigyanmay Kosh is where Gyan appears, the knowledge I'm talking about. So our purpose first should be that I go to that level where everything is clear. Once my brain starts functioning absolutely clearly, so my body, my breathing, my mind, and then my brain, and then there is this last and final frontier of my ego. Right? That drops, then Anandamay Kosh is like when I am part of everybody, right? I'm connected. And so once I reach that, so Guru Maharaj did that, his Guru did that, and then what they did, they shared that knowledge. So first, to identify the purpose, we have to reach that level of clarity. Once you have that clarity, get to the goal and then share. So purpose then becomes, so I'll end this with this a little bit more clarity on your 2-part question or 2 questions. So people say that if I, because I have seen the Buddhists go to monastery, the Christians put their life into church and become priests and nuns and all that. In India, people go to the Himalayas or ashrams. So it's worldwide. There are these ways in which people leave their duties and go away somewhere to achieve this goal that we're talking about. Our scriptures in this process talks about, no, you can do it right here, right now, while doing everything. All you have to do is think about this, and I'll really give you food for thought. There is a hotel, right? So first aspect is, when I go to the hotel, I don't own anything there. I enjoy everything, but I know I'm leaving. And I can't take things away because then I'll have to pay for it, right? So in this world, it's a hotel. Everything is temporary. You don't own really anything. You are not going to take anything. So why attach it? So you go to the hotel, enjoy, right? And then leave. But we have so much baggage, right? That is why we are not at peace. So imagine that everything you have around you, you're living in a hotel, you're a guest. So that's number one. But then there is another aspect to it, because you asked, a combined question. So let's say I am supposed to take care of the hotel. Okay? And I'm given this responsibility. Oh my goodness. That's a big responsibility. Everybody will come, cleanliness, etc., etc. So many things to do. There are 2 ways to take care of the hotel. One, to become the owner, right? Once you become the owner, then you will just get caught up in like, oh, this is not right, that is not right. But then there is another way. If you are a caretaker of the hotel or the manager of the hotel, I come in at 9, I take care of everything, but when I go at 5, it's somebody else's problem, the owner's problem. I go sleep well. You did the same thing. The owner was trying to do the same thing, take care of everything. The manager is also trying to take care of everything. But manager, when he goes home, he doesn't care. If something goes wrong, the owner has to. My job was to just manage. So your work, your family, your studies, your career, you have to manage. Right? But you don't have control, really. How much control do we have? So don't become the owner. Once you become the owner, headaches. Once you become the manager and a caretaker, you do the duties. So Guru Maharaj had 3 sons, 2 daughters. He used to practice homeopathy. He used to travel for satsang. He used to write books after enlightenment. So he did all his duties. Why can't you? So his goal was you can achieve the ultimate goal through your own progress without leaving anything. He said, 1 hour to yourself or to this practice, 23 hours, just do the caretaking job. Don't own anything. You'll be fine.
What the lifestyle, any message?
So same thing, exactly the same thing. Our Eastern culture or the Eastern thought is that first achieve the goal yourself and then help everybody else because now you're there, now you can share what you've got. So everybody should help each other get to the goal. And then once you get to the goal, share it with others. Because if you try at the lower levels, we get caught up in politics and other things. So first you should be clear what your purpose is. Then you can help other people to identify their own purpose. But the process is the same. The society cannot become better until and unless the individuals in the society are enlightened. If they don't know their purpose, they will keep fighting for stupid things. Because the clarity is not there. The third eye concept people talk about, but we all need clarity in life. That is the purpose in life becomes clear only when you're crystal clear. The sun is shining and the clouds have disappeared. So with that note, let's wrap up today, but we'll definitely ask the local volunteers to find, provide some feedback. Definitely, I really enjoyed it. From the bottom of my heart, very thankful for everyone to be here. And it was for 30 seconds, I opened my eyes and looked, and everybody was really looking like they were in a great place. And I hope you continue to be in a great place inside it. So thank you very much.
With this note, I thank Sanjeevji for this super and peaceful. And I would now call Gopalji and Sangeetaji to please honor Sanjeevji with a shawl. Gopalji and Sangeetaji.
This was done. Thank you.
So keep sitting. I'll take a picture while this group with audience. I think you can make it.
Thank you everyone for your precious time. As mentioned, we will be having monthly follow-up meets and all the information regarding those meets will be given through emails and WhatsApp numbers which we have registered, which you guys have used for registration. So we will be sending you emails according to the dates decided and you guys can join us along. It was really a great session. Thank you everyone for your participation. Thank you, Sanjeevji. We all did have high tea break outside. We have tea, coffee and snacks for you guys and also a good introduction round for all of us. Let's mingle up. Thank you.
One year and I'm very sad that. Great question. The awareness, they should come together and because India mostly contains women centric. If I get awareness individually, if you go home, then you may again you have to compromise.
Sometimes I think being in the society.